everybody. I'm Laura Trump coming to you from my home in New York. If you're pro-God, pro-America, pro-gun, and pro-duck hunting, then you're pro-Trump in 2020. Joining me is the host of Unashamed on Blaze TV and the author of Jesus Politics, How to Win Back the Soul of America, Phil Robertson. Phil, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to see you, Laura.
Thank you so much. Well, this is very exciting. This summer, you're releasing a new book titled Jesus Politics, How to Win Back the Soul of America. Tell us a little bit about the book.
If you look carefully, Laura, when the crime rate is high, the Jesus rate is always low.
Oh, interesting.
When the Jesus rate is high, the crime rate is way down. You have Jesus saying the greatest commands in the entire Bible. Listen to this. Love God and love your neighbor. Laura, for crying out loud, what's the downside to that?
I agree.
Jesus Politics is like, why don't we try loving God and loving each other for a while with all of this vitriol and ad hominem attacks from this group and that group and holler? I think it's spiritual warfare more than political warfare, but I'm just trying to get people to do those two things. Just love God and love your neighbor. Come on.
Well, those are very wise words. I think we could all take a cue from that. I think it's fair to say, though, that President Trump really has helped to restore faith and family in America today. What do you think about that, Phil?
Donald J. Trump. I've been watching these presidents come and go. I'm 74, the same age as Donald J. Trump.
Yep.
He has done more for Christianity, more for Jesus, than any president we've ever had. I've watched him carefully. When I first met him and he was running for office, I said, Donald, whatever happens, don't miss this. And I showed him God becoming flesh, Jesus dying on a cross, being buried and raised from the dead. And your daddy-in-law, he looked at that, he said, He said, when I showed it to him, he said, what is that? So I pointed him to Jesus, the removal of our sin on a cross, the resurrection. I said, Donald, there's a 6-foot hole waiting on all of us. I said, Jesus solved that for us. I said, whatever happens, whether you win or lose, don't forget that. And I was started to walk away, and he said, hey, he said, can I have that piece of paper? I said, sure. And I gave it to him. So when I've talked to him since then, he reminds me of that day, and I'm happy that he listened to the story about Jesus.
Wow. Well, you obviously touched him, and I think he took your words to heart, and you're right. Look, he has done more for religious freedom in this country, really, I think most people would agree, than any president before him. You look at what is being done right now, Phil, in the time of the coronavirus, when we are all sort of locked down or have been locked down across this country. You see that many individual freedoms have been restricted during this pandemic, including one of our freedoms being infringed upon is our right to go to church, to practice our religion freely. What are your thoughts on what we've seen happen throughout this pandemic, throughout all these shutdowns across the country?
Common sense normally prevails. I just want my fellow brothers and sisters to remember that where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, you just said, I will be there.
That's right.
So look, pandemics come and pandemics go. The term going to church is not even in the Bible. We are the church. When something like a pestilence or a pandemic comes, and throughout the Old Testament you can read about them, God wants us to understand that even if you're down on the river like I am, with Miss Kay, Miss Kay and I and our immediate family, we still remember Jesus. I'm still preaching the gospel via the internet. Laura, think about it. I've never bought a cell phone. I don't have one.
Wow.
I've never clicked on to the internet. But I'm on the internet, and the people who do have cell phones, like today, are hearing me point them to Jesus. So look, we don't have to worry so much about having to go somewhere. Everybody kind of stay scattered out. It's a tough virus. Wash your hands, do that, but you really don't have to go anywhere. 2 or 3 to gather together. Look, it'll pass, and when it passes, we go back to meeting together. So I think everyone needs to be patient and not get so upset about small things. We are to, Romans 12, offer our bodies as living sacrifices before God, holy and pleasing to Him, which is your spiritual act of worship. You and I are talking about Jesus here today, and the president and him being for Christianity. It's a wonderful thing. We don't need to be upset about little man-made edicts. They'll come and they'll go. Just meet where you can until things get back to normal. We'll be okay.
Oh, very wise words to follow. Well, I want to ask you, Phil, I know that you're doing your part and staying home as well. How has quarantine been for you? What have you been doing? Has it been different? Do you not mind being quarantined, perhaps?
Just think about it. We're catching our fish fresh right out of the river. So we catch our fish and we clean them, and we're eating fried catfish and blackened crappie and jambalaya and gumbo. So the meals have been terrific. Trust me, girl, I'm not missing anything.
Well, I will go ahead and just extend an invitation. Eric and I will be down to join you for dinner then, because it sounds delicious, and we would love to take part in that.
You are welcome at any time.
Thank you. Well, Phil Robertson, listen, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for your very thoughtful words. I think we can all take a cue from you. Everybody relax. We can all just get back to normal at some point, but until then, we're all coming over for some fried catfish and some jambalaya. So, Phil, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Laura.
If you're pro-faith and pro-freedom in America, then you too are pro-Trump in 2020. That's the real news for today. If you'd like to get involved with Team Trump, go to DonaldJTrump.com or download the official Trump 2020 app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. I'm Laura Trump, coming to you from my home in New York. Thanks for joining us, everybody.